What's up, guys? I haven't done one of these videos in a while. Um, I don't really know when the last time I did a commentary video was. I feel like it was like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. But anyway, you know, this video is going to be something I don't think I've ever done a video like this before. Um, Hold on, dude. I seriously need to take my pants off. It is hot in this room. Hold on. Oh my god, it's hot. Sorry. I also need to put on some shorts afterwards, probably. But yeah, I haven't done one of these videos in a while. Um, or I don't. Yeah, I haven't done a video like this ever. Let's just cut straight to the chase. And it all started last night. Where Boger was on one of his tangents, and this time he called me a rapist, which, let's be real here, I'm not. And he was going all off, and he was an old person would say his feathers were ruffled, to say the least. Um, but basically, once all that cooled off and I was about to go to sleep, I thought about it and I was like, how did I end up in this position? How did I end up in a spot to where an actual grown adult is yelling at me and, calling me a rapist? Off nothing, by the way. And uh, I thought about it. And I was like, how did I get here? How did this community get here? And I just as a whole, because I always talk about this, or I talk about this sometimes. Like, I'll say it in a party, like, this community isn't real. I say it as it's kind of crazy how this community is what it is in terms of, like, it's just this group of people. It's elite. I'm not talking about. I'm saying this community is elite. Just the characters. I mean, I think about this shit every day. How this could be a fucking reality show, man. There's some elite people in this community. There's hillbillies. There's thugs. There's people in between like me. There's I I don't know. I was thinking of getting political, but I'd have no clue what I'm talking about. So, but anyway, I was just thinking, like, how did it get here? And I was thinking about, how did it just I get here in general? Um, and then I thought about it, and it's like, man, Slick NASCAR 420 is the reason why I'm here. And this video is a thank you message to Slick. That's what this video is. And I'm also going to dive through, like, just at least from my perspective, how I got to this community and how this community came to be, at least on my end of it. Um, and I want this video to be a gateway for other people to talk about how they got here, because everybody has their own. This may sound corny, but everybody has their own, like, I guess, path of how they got here. Like, because I still think it's crazy how um, this community is what it is. The people that talk to each other every day. There's people that live in California. There's people that live in Canada. There's people that live down south like me. It's just I think it's just great the diversity we have in the community. How there's always a party every day. There's always people talking. There's some generational characters. I just think it's elite. I never thought when I started joining lobbies on NASCAR Heat 3 or NASCAR Heat 4 when I was a little okay, great. When I was a little ass kid, I never thought, that there's, like, communities like this. I never thought about it that way. I just always thought these were just be people just trying to race online, and it was way deeper than that, way bigger than that, than I expected. And, NASCAR Heat 4 is where this starts. I joined this lobby. It was a 100% Watkins Glen lobby with strict yellows. What madman decided to create this lobby, I don't know. But there was a guy in this lobby by the name of Slick NASCAR 420. Otherwise known as Zachary Appleberry. Everybody knows Slick. Everybody loves Slick. And he happened to be in that lobby too. Mind you, this lobby had 4 people, maybe 5. It was me, Slick, and 2 to 3 other random people. And despite it only being 5 people racing, this 90 lap race at Watkins Glen took about 15 minutes with the strict yellows. The race flew by. And, I was talking in chat, trying to make friends online, I guess. I was like a 6th grader at the time. That sounds about right. Actually, hell, 5th grader. Oh, yeah, 5th grader. For sure, yeah. Uh, just trying to race online and stuff like that. It's crazy thinking about it, because this literally happened half of a decade ago. Over that, almost at this point. So it's that, yeah, over that for sure. So yeah, it's just insane to think about. And basically, I started talking to Slick from there, and Slick got me connected with this guy named Super Trooper. And him, and Slick used to do some crazy shit. And I know I'm yapping right now. I know half the people watching do not give a fuck about this story. But I just wanted to talk about this for documentation purposes. And there's funny parts along the road. But anyway, me, Super, and Slick, we would do actual no-life shit. And this is during quarantine at this point. We would do NASCAR Heat 5 100% races with AI online, trying to create like our own season mode out of it, I guess you could say. And then this is when PlayStation Now and PS4 was actually like elite. This is when PlayStation Now. This was before it like collabed with PlayStation Plus. If y'all know what I'm talking about. But basically, PlayStation Now, at least on the PS4, it used to be absolutely fucking elite. You would have all these amazing like games from the PS4, the PS3, maybe even the PS2 that would be on there. You could play them for free if you just bought PS Now. Most elite thing ever. I would give a lot of things to have that old school PS Now back. I digress. I ended up getting F1 2016 off of PS Now. And that's how I got pretty much every F1 game before F1 2021. Because they were all just on there. And I just downloaded F1 2016. I had no clue, or I obviously everyone knew what F1 was, including me, but I had knew nothing about it otherwise from the fact that, I know who Lewis Hamilton was, and Michael Schumacher, and Ayrton Senna. That's, and so I actually started playing F1 2016 with Super and Slick. Slick ended up, I remember this, he ordered it, and it came through in the mail. I remember the exact moment it came through in the mail for Slick. I think he was in the party for sure. I do remember that. And, we did this 100% race season mode. It just us three with AI. And the AI were turned down so low, guys. I can't trust it enough. They were so shitty. We would literally at Bahrain, I remember, we lapped the whole field, us three. Which is just insane to think about. Like how low we had, like, the difficulty. But basically, I hadn't dabbled into any league racing things yet. As I not that I didn't know what league racing was. It was more of I didn't know how to get into it. You know what I mean? But Slick, just the main reason, as usual, it seems. He knew Boger. Boger 9202, everybody knows him. He knew Boger, and Boger had this league called U.S. Armed Forces. It was on NASCAR Heat 4 still at this point, and he was basically, Slick got me in the league, got me and Super. And my first ever league race, ever, period, Auto Club, NASCAR Heat 4. I remember a few of the people from this race. Boger, Slick, me, Super Trooper, this guy, which if you guys are really old school in the community, you might know who I'm talking about, Jermaine Bizzle. Jermaine, he went to the Army. And when and I think of someone like Jermaine, I always think like, wow, he only knows the asshole side of me. Because when I was still little at this point. I mean, I'm a sixth grader at this point. Like, and mind you, hadn't even started sixth grade. I was in quarantine. I was an asshole. I was an asshole little kid. If I was a little kid, like if I could put myself in a little kid body, go back in time to when I was a little kid, I'd beat the shit out of me. 100%. I was a shithead. Um, uh, but eventually I did grow up in a few ways. Stayed the same in others, but I ended up racing in Boger's League, and that was the first league I ever raced in. First race, that Auto Club race. Racing a few more races. I specifically remember before a Phoenix race, Boger would always play the national anthem before the race, or like someone in the mic would, and everybody would be quiet. It was actually pretty formal, especially for how out of pocket this generation is, including me. I'm the worst part of that, and it'd actually be a pretty solemn part. I don't know what that means, but it'd be a pretty solemn part of the pre-race ceremony or whatever. And Boger would do 100% races. Yes, 100% races. Me and 100% races during this time, I tell you. Man, did I want to become a fucking NASCAR driver or what? Or I don't know, man. But basically, like, he'd give someone the prayer or ask if anyone wanted to do, prayer before the race. This Phoenix race, it was my turn. Or I guess I just wanted to do the prayer. Bugger wanted to. I don't know, but I ended up starting doing the prayer, and I wish I had this clipped because man, if this didn't dictate how much of an asshole I was during this time, then I don't know what would. I started rambling on the prayer, and Jermaine was talking during it. I think he was laughing because I was probably saying some stupid shit, and I was like, blah blah blah, and Jermaine, shut the hell up. Just trying to be funny, even though it's during a prayer, and whether you're religious or not, it's still disrespectful as hell. And that's one of the main memories I have of me just being an asshole during that time, because a lot of people in the community know me, have only started knowing me in my period when I wasn't an asshole anymore, more like just how I am today. And only a few were there for the time where I was actually like a dickhead. Two Dog was there too. Oh my God, Two Dog. That's another thing. Some of these people I've literally been racing with for now over half of a decade. Like Boger, I've been racing with for over 5 years now. Slick, over 5 years now. Two Dog, over 5 years now for sure. Yeah. It's just crazy to think about. For a actual huge portion of my life, over a fourth of my life, pretty much, I've been racing with these people online. I didn't, you never think it'd get that big, and again, that's why I'm making this video. I want to hear y'all's stories, how y'all got to this point. How y'all got started in league racing. I genuinely, I'd love to hear it. I know I sound like some old person looking to share stories or whatever, but I'm genuinely curious because I always thought the prospect of how we got to where we are in life or whatever in any aspect is always really interesting. I take a lot of interest into the domino effect, how just little decisions can affect so much things without someone realizing it, and I just think that's the coolest but craziest part of life, the decisions you make. And who knows? Maybe if I didn't join that lobby with Slick that one day on NASCAR E4, I wouldn't know who anyone in the community is. I wouldn't know who Isaiah Hines is, who's in that 44 truck right there. I wouldn't know who Colton Irving is in the lead of the race right now. I wouldn't know any of these people. And it's just crazy to think about it that way. It truly is. And another thing, we get to Slick invites me to this other league. It's called Dr. Pepper, ran by Philly Mood 12. Remember, Philly's such a nice guy. One of the nicest, definitely for sure, one of the nicest people I've ever met online. Definitely one of the main examples of not everybody online's just an asshole or out of pocket or some crazy ass person. Philly's such a great person. You can just tell. But I got in his league, and that's where I met some more people that might be familiar to some people. Like, obviously, Two Dog, C2, Johnny, that really old school. They don't show up much anymore, but most people are going to know what I'm talking about when I start talking about C2 and Johnny. And who else? Like T-Font. Not many people are going to know who that is. At least, I know like Boger's going to know who that is, and Slick, and Two Dog, obviously, but Splat Cat. I hadn't met much people from the community today at that point, but I was establishing connections. And this was also a huge point of my life in terms of just me maturing as a person. It's crazy how like online racing helped me mature as a person from a personal aspect, which is another main reason I made this video, because I really thought about it, like how much this has had an effect on me, like at least growing up. I always think at the end of the day, this is league racing, and it doesn't originate on a video game, but in terms of the personal aspect thing, like this did help me develop as a human in terms of how to act towards people when competing. And, like I was a little shit back then, man. As I've already said enough. And I ended up getting kicked from Dr. Pepper. I was a horrible person. Such an asshole. The type of person that'd be berated in the community today. And it's crazy to think that like I used to be one of those people. Yeah, I was in 6th grade. That could be looked at as a little bit of an excuse. I was a squeaker, as they called it back then. I don't hear that word much anymore, so I'm starting to feel a little old. But yeah, squeaker. That's what That's what I was referred to as, kind of. That's what I'd call myself at least. And I was an absolute horrible person. I was a shithead to people, and stuff like that. And that's another part of this video that's like a thank you letter to Slick. I keep I'll not mention him for a few minutes, but the whole point is he always comes back. He's always here. Slick was the only person that, like, I guess could see through it. See that I was still a kid. I wasn't a complete asshole at heart. And me and Slick, we've always been close, man. And another great example of you can find genuine connections online. Like Slick is one of those people you can just tell. Great, and must be a great person to be friends with in real life. And there are days where you would rather do anything but go to school or be social in real life. And for me, at least, when I had days like that in middle school, it's always the community, the game, man. Hopping on NASCAR, whatever it was. The GTA was a big thing around, the middle school era for me, with the community. But it was just always a cool thing. And I know I can be an asshole at times, but it's like, I do find it quite enjoyable to, talk to everyone in this community pretty much. Obviously there's moments, but I think it's great. I do think it's great. And and earlier this year, or last year, there was multiple times brought up about a community meetup, which, obviously it's how much truth there really is there to that. But, it keeps getting brought up. So, I would love for that to happen one day. Honestly, I feel like that'd be on my bucket list, man. A big community meetup, maybe at a NASCAR race, maybe at the Daytona 500 one year once the next gen car, becomes a competent plate racing car anywhere but Atlanta, maybe something like that. Maybe going to a Bristol race because that's my home track and I'm biased and I love fucking Bristol, even though it's ass in the next gen car low key without tire wear. But the tire wear races are elite anyway. I'm yambling about a bunch of shit that doesn't matter right now. But I love talking. But I basically, we flash forward. I end up joining other leagues, making other connections. Uh, all through, mostly through Slick mainly, and it's crazy to think I've never. I guess I've never truly thanked Slick for the fact that he's the only reason why I know any of you guys watching this video. He is. I mean, I don't join that lobby. I don't know anyone here, so that's watching or anyone I'm racing with in this video. Phoenix and Vayer. So I mean, I didn't just create this video to have like a nostalgia trip or talk about how cool the community is. It's just a big thank you message to Slick. Thank you, because I couldn't even imagine what gaming would be like for me, especially league racing. I don't even know if I'd ever get into league racing, and honestly, thinking about that it's kind of crazy. Because it's been such a huge part of me growing up, and I've learned so much from some older people in the community. Like, you learn things from people talking online. I always hate when people think. I always hate the take that social media is bad. No, that's bullshit, man. I hate that. Yeah, there's bad parts of social media. There's bad parts of a city. That doesn't mean that city doesn't have good parts to it. I don't know. I'm bad at making examples. Oh, I feel like that's not a bad example. I don't know. But, like, I'm trying to say, especially in social media, I feel like there's, like, plenty of good apples to be found around the bunch. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but in terms of the analogies here, but you know what I mean? Like people like Cade, like Grega. Grega is like my age, and like at multiple times has showed great intelligence when it comes to like history of like NASCAR and stuff like that. Stuff that like I thought I was a history buff until I met Grega, to be honest. It's just people like that. Multiple people in the community that are in college. And just many great people in the community. And honestly, like, I've learned 10 times more throughout the community than I have in half the classes I've taken in middle school or high school. While high school, go to school. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can learn a lot just socializing with people online. But that's all back to my point. How did y'all get here? I genuinely want to know, like, how. Because and a lot of people have had huge arcs. I remember Josh used to be an asshole, and now Josh is like hilarious. Josh is great. I remember Josh used to be a fucking little shithead, just like me, and it's crazy. Everybody had a big evolution. I would love to make more videos talking about this stuff too, because there's so much lore, so much community lore, so much history. I would just love to dabble into. Seriously, stuff I would. It's crazy, man. But I just want to thank y'all for watching. This has been a long video, but see y'all.